We are going to lift up the backbone today, and we have a quote from none other than Minister Malcolm X himself, Malik El Shabazz, that strong leader who stood up against white supremacy and anti-blackness, and also encouraged Black people to believe that they too deserve better than what they are getting, to believe in themselves, their beauty and their brilliance. He indicted this country, even taking it all the way to the UN, charging the United States of America with human rights violations against Black people. Baby, he struck a chord in this country in a way that very few people have done. We want to lift up Minister Malcolm X and all the great work that he did. And here we go. Here is the quote from Minister Malcolm X. "I have no mercy or compassion in me for a society that will crush people and then penalize them for not being able to stand up under the weight." Again, that's Minister Malcolm X, a spiritual leader and a human rights activist. Please leave that quote up. You can put it side by side with Francesca, myself. But Francesca, I think this quote is very timely, very apropos for this moment that we are in, like right now, even what we talked about in this show. But also it's a timely comment that Minister Malcolm X made.
Yes, and especially because I think we have to understand that white supremacy, the way it manifests, isn't that it wants to erase Black people. It wants Black Americans to accept their second-class citizenship. It wants Black Americans to accept that they're gonna die by the hands of police officers at rates unseen in any other ethnic or racial category. So that's it. And here is Malcolm X saying, absolutely not. Don't serve me a pile of you know what and tell me to enjoy it. I'm gonna stand up for my rights. I'm an American. I deserve this equal treatment, something the right has forgotten. We're just talking about equality, people. Is that so scary? And to them, it is.
Yeah, it is. It's not really a heavy lift. And just the things that Minister Malcolm X talked about, stood up for in the 1960s, it is as if we are reliving that today. I'm reading a book titled The Sword and the Shield, and it is about both Minister Malcolm X and the Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Oftentimes in history, especially here in this country, they pit those two men against one another. They lift one up over the other. And make no mistake, Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. was a hated man before he was assassinated, especially when he went up against the Vietnam War, and he indicted this country on its militarism, its materialism, and its racism. And what this book really lays out is that both men were fighting for the same cause, that they were together on that cause. They met only one time. God only knows what could have happened along the way in that civil rights movement if they were able to fully work together side by side. You want to talk about revolution, but this country did not want that. You had the likes of J. Edgar Hoover that had, them bugged all the time, that hired Black people to be agents to infiltrate and cause mayhem and chaos in both of their organizations. So this country has really done some pretty vile things to African Americans and to their leaders. But we do thank God for Minister Malcolm X, and what he said is righteous. Let's put that up just one more time, and we will be highlighting him often and lifting him up. "I have no mercy or compassion in me for a society that will crush people." Say that, Minister, and then penalize them for not being able to stand up under the weight. And that is socially, that is politically, that is economically, that is in all aspects of this society. He has no respect for it, and neither do I. And I know many of you do not either.